Hey everyone, I'm Amber and welcome back to another episode of Spotlight. I am very excited to be welcoming our guest, Travis. Travis is an actor, dancer, and stuntman originally from Puerto Rico, but currently in New York City. He's been on projects like Law & Order, SVU, and NBC's The Endgame, along with many other cool projects that he cannot talk about, but that are going to be released very, very soon, so keep an eye out for those. And he also serves as an instructor at NYU's Tisch School of the Arts. So Travis, thank you so much for being here. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm so excited. I literally, so this is kind of a nepotism kind of thing because for those who don't know, I go to NYU Tisch School of the Arts, and Travis is actually one of my instructors. And I immediately knew that I had to have you on this, and I told everyone out off the charts, I'm like, we need to have you come on because you've got so much knowledge about so many like insider things in the industry that I think are not what you generally hear about when you just talk about getting into the entertainment and getting into film. And they kind of, I think they really do, I can say for myself, like they really do help frame what you're actually getting yourself into. So I'm just so excited to get into it. So why don't we start off just talking about how you transitioned from acting to stunts? What was that like? Did you know you wanted to make that pivot, or did you kind of figure that out along the way? What was that process like?
I kind of figured it out along the way. I was a dancer full time first, and I was dancing through while I was in college. I was like performing and teaching while I was in college, and the goal was always to dance and then act. And then in college, I started doing stage combat, and I'd always done martial arts and such as like a hobby. And stage combat was like, oh yeah, this makes sense. This is fun. And kind of when I moved to New York, I got an opportunity to start doing stunts because I did a stage combat workshop and met a stunt coordinator there who, after a class, like invited me out to like this small project that he was doing and needed extra people for. And I was like, oh, this is great. This is kind of more what I want to do. And I kind of stuck with dance and acting as my main goals for a while, for years. But as I got to know the stunt community, I saw that there was a really enough like a longevity in it. Like I could see a full career path in stunts where I could like retire and like I could like work in the industry, grow to a certain position in the industry, and then at some point like have the things I need and retire. And I had a winter training in Chicago because my wife is in Chicago on tour, and I got to meet the stunt community out there. And the way that they worked really kind of changed everything for me. And after that trip, I came back and it was full stunts. I did my last regional theater show, and it wasn't like the best thing. It was like wasn't the best experience I've ever had. And then I was done, and I was like full shift into stunts. And I've been doing this full as like my full career for about 4 years now.
Damn. Wow. So how did you like even make the pivot professionally? Because I know you did classes and you met people through there, but like, did you have to go get represented differently for stunts, or what was that like?
Yeah, so stunts is weird because there's no representation. There's no
Okay.
agency for stunts. I think actually in LA there is an agency that does represent stunts, but I believe I could be wrong, but I believe that they represent stunt coordinators, and they're like a meeting point for coordinators and like big budget projects.
Got it. Okay.
They always say like it's not like what you know, it's who you know, but like stunts is truly like it's who knows you, not who you know.
Wow.
And that's really the only way in, but it creates a community that's not only tight knit, but like that people can trust. You never have to like
Yeah.
worry about somebody not being good on set usually,
That makes
unless it's like
sense.
their first couple gigs.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so interesting. I had no idea. I really thought that there was like it was like as an actor, like you go in for these roles and then you just basically kind of know who you know and they end up
Yeah, there's not even an audition process. You
really.
just get a phone call.
Wow.
You get a call from a stunt coordinator being like, "Hey, are you free next Tuesday?" And then you say yes or no, and then that's how you get
Interesting.
the job.
So then in that case, how do they know like cuz you kind of like you can say whatever you want when you're on the phone. They don't have to actually see you doing it. So are there cases of
Mhm.
people that are like just completely lie about what they do and then they get there?
Yep. And that so something I kind of like about that
Hmm.
is that when people who do that are idiots. Um, I understand the need to like kind of like pad your resume a little bit and lie a little bit as an actor because one, there's so much more competition, and two, like most of the time they're like, "Do you know how to do this?" And you're like, "Yeah," and if you don't know how to do it, it's usually fine
Yeah.
because like there's so many tricks in TV and film that like you don't need to ride a bike. Someone could ride a bike if you don't know how to ride a bike, but you could lie about it and still get the job. But in stunts, if you lie about it, you could die.
Yeah.
Like
Jeez.
depending on, I mean, it's very rare that you'd be asked to do like a super dangerous stunt on your first interaction with a coordinator. But if you show up and you have lied about something, that coordinator will never hire you again. I try to not even like exaggerate. It's like, can you do this? I'm like, I've done it before, but I don't like. I'm not regularly like. I got asked if I could like, if I was like a really strong swimmer and I could do like a rescue situation where I have to rescue somebody from like heavy currents in water. And I was like, I can swim, but I'm not a strong swimmer.
Right.
And I was like, if you think the water's going to be like really chill and we're going to pretend it's that, sure. But if it's going to be actual like choppy water, find somebody else. And they found somebody else. And thank God, because it turned out to be really choppy, scary water.
Oh,
I heard
damn.
about it. So it was
Okay.
like, yeah, you kind of have to be honest about it.
Got it. Got it. And so you kind of mentioned it, but like talking about when you get on set, what happens if there is something there, like a stunt that the coordinators told you you're going to do that you're just not comfortable with? Is there like leeway to say, I'm not comfortable with this? You suck it up and do it? Like, what's that process?
You'll you'll get like a call for like work without any information if it's under what we call like the umbrella of expected skills. So if it's like falling down, running, getting shot, throwing a punch, like all that is kind of expected of you as
Yeah.
a stunt person. So you'll get those calls without the coordinator saying anything else. They'll be like, "Are you free next Tuesday?" And you can generally assume that it's something in that category. Like usually we get a call, have no idea what we're doing until we show up, because a lot of it is pretty simple. But most coordinators, at least most of the experiences I've had, is if the stunt requires something more, like something more specific or slightly more dangerous, even if it's like jumping down like 5 feet, like that's not that high, but like they'll ask,
That's
they're
not
like,
that
"This is
high.
the
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
5 feet's not that high. Like 10 feet's higher. Like 10 feet, you would like for sure make sure. But even if it's something like we need you to ride a bike, or we need you,
Yeah.
if they have a specific skill, they're gonna ask. And it is on you as the performer to say yes or no beforehand if you're comfortable. Um, so like if I was doing a wire gag or if I was doing like a fall, I would know ahead of time and I would have the ability to say no before that job even happens. Because I think the worst thing you can do is show up and then bail on the stunt,
Right, right.
unless the stunt is set up improperly. Unless it becomes like a safety issue of like you show up and the stunt is set up in a way that is like, oh no, I'm not going to do that. But that has never happened to me. Um,
Okay.
I've never had to turn down a stunt on the day.
So along those same lines as well, like I do this a lot at Off the Charts. I stalk. I love stalking. And so I stalked you, of course, knowing that you were coming
Oh
on.
God. Okay.
And I did a little stalking to your skills of like the things that like are on the internet that are like, Travis can do this. Rappelling, rigging skills, parkour, martial arts. You've got a lot. So for someone who is interested in getting into it, what would you say kind of like right off the bat are some general skills or fields of things that you think they should try and get some experience in that are kind of like universal across a lot of stunt work?
Sure. So
Yeah.
if you want to do stunts, the the blanket, the ground floor is you need to be able to like do a basic fight. So like throw some punches. You need to be able to pretend you can take a hit. You need to be able to hit the ground hard. Hard being a key word. Because like we set up in stage combat that like it needs to be like repeatable, and you should be, because in theater you should be able to do it every day and not get injured. In stunts you need to be able to do it a bunch of times one day, and then you can take some time off if you need to. So like that is an expected skill that you can like kind of like eat shit on the ground pretty hard.
Got it.
But most stunt people come from some kind of athletic background. So a lot of stunt people are former athletes. of some in some capacity. There's no like specific route you can go into. You can kind of get into stunts from almost anything.
Really? Okay.
But some kind of either athletic adventure or I guess risk-taking background. The things we see a lot of martial artists, which makes sense. You see a lot of gymnasts, which makes sense. You also get a lot of former like drivers. So either they come from like a car racing background, or a motorcycle racing background, or motocross. We get a lot of skateboarders, mostly because skateboarders are really good at falling down.
Oh, makes sense. Yeah.
You fall down a lot skateboarding.
Wow.
And there's a handful of dancers in the industry because choreography is a thing. But anything from like football, soccer. I've seen some hockey players. It kind of runs the gamut. Skydivers. You have people who know how to fly planes. People who come from a military background. People who are former police. Like, it kind of runs the gamut because the things you need in stunts is such a broad spectrum.
Right.
If you think of stunts as like not only as like a dangerous skill, I suppose, you're recreating violence, but also a lot of stunts is just like skills that actors might not have. So like, if you're a woman and you have a commercial driver's license and you can drive like a semi truck or you can drive a bus, you're gonna work a lot.
Wow.
Because not many people have that skill set, and they need people to drive buses and TV and film. Like, so there's a lot of different ways in. Most stunts are specialists of some regard.
Okay, so would you recommend people like pick a niche in that way, or try and do everything?
Both. Pick a niche. Yeah, you have the thing that you want to be known for, and then learn everything else.
Cool.
Like, make your way down the list. Like, decide what you want to learn first, and then like, okay, that's this month, and then either you keep working on that, or next month you try something new. So there's a lot of people who like have a martial arts background. Like, I have a martial arts and a dance background. So I spent like last year, like I spent a few months learning how to like rig and how to fly people and run wire systems. And then I learned how to stunt drive a car by taking a couple classes. And then I got a motorcycle license so I could ride motorcycles. And I need to get a scuba certificate next. So you kind of just like make your way down
like build
the
it
list
up.
of skills. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
I do it by like, if I get asked for something and I can't do it, that's the next thing I'm going to learn.
That's smart. That's really smart.
Next time I get that. It also like helps take the pressure off me deciding.
Got it.
So I lost 2 jobs because I couldn't ride a motorcycle, so now I know how to ride.
You're getting that motorcycle license.
Yeah. What's next?
That's awesome. Wow. So in the beginning, I mentioned that you have all of these really cool projects that I was like dying to put in, but I know I have to respect the NDA and you have to respect the NDA, so I understand. It's totally okay. But I know that they involve some kind of motion capture-y things, and you've talked about doing that experience of motion capture and kind of stunts integrated with VFX a little bit. So what would you say the difference is, like, as a performer when you're going into it versus practical versus VFX or motion capture?
Totally.
Do you have a preference also of like one or the other?
Yeah, so there is I'm trying to remember the conversation I had. I haven't specifically done motion capture, but I have done a lot of VFX integration stuff recently. So I just worked on a project that is superhero-ish in nature, is probably all I can say about it. But I didn't do any motion capture for it. I did like get 3D scanned for it. So basically I get in wardrobe, I get in front of like hundreds of cameras, they all take photos at once. Then they have a digital print of me that they can use to create VFX shots.
That's so cool.
And so there's a type of, it happens a lot in superhero films, but it also happens in other projects where it's something called like a VFX takeover, where you'll start doing a motion and then halfway through that motion, they will VFX replace you as a digital double, and that double will finish the rest of the motion. So that's how you get like the big superhero jumps.
Yeah.
Where somebody like, they're either on their feet or on a wire. They jump like 10 feet in the air on a wire, or like 3 feet, 4 feet on their feet. And as they're going up, a digital double will take over the, like literally just like continue the motion. So they jump 50 feet instead. Which that integration I think is really cool, because I work on VFX in my free time, and I think that's like the skill to be able to do that and shoot that takes a lot of planning and a lot of work, and I'm really interested in that.
So this is a more fun question because I really wanted to ask it. What would you say is your most favorite project you've worked on, or favorite person you've worked with? It could be either or both.
Okay, I have two favorite projects I've worked on. One of them is this superhero-y style project I can't really talk about.
Biting our tongue on that one.
And I also got to work on I don't know how much information is out about the superhero project right now, so I can't really say much. The other one I've worked on is also not out yet, but it's a video game project. So if you've played the game Fallout, I got to work overall about a month on Fallout in various like episodes and things, and that has some of the. I'm really excited for that one to come out. There's a lot. I can't talk about like what I did on the show or what's
Right.
happening in the show, but that's going to be a fun one. Just because I'm a fan of the game and I played the game a lot, so I'm
Yeah.
like super pumped to see that one play out because they're doing a good job.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we'll keep an eye out for that. And I'm like so excited. I think what we'll do is when the superhero-y thing comes out eventually, we'll repost this and say, now we can tell you
Okay.
what it was. We'll do that.
Okay.
That's the deal we'll make.
Cool, cool, cool.
So we always like to wrap up the episodes kind of with just a general, like, if you have any advice for youth artists or people looking to get into stunts or even the arts or acting in general, anything that you'd like to say, maybe even to your, like, for example, you could do it as your younger self. What would you say to them coming in, all trying to figure everything out, and just kind of trying to learn everything?
Find the work that you like doing. And so when I say work, I mean every job has that thing about it that sucks, that's hard. So I say for acting, it's like you have to show up for your auditions every day. You have to like sit in line, get there at 6 a.m., wait there, do your non-equity audition, get ignored, and then do it
Never,
again.
never responded to ever again.
It's just like it's nonstop, and like that's the work. Like that's the part that's like once you get the job and you're doing the rehearsal, that's not the work. That's the play. That's the fun. But the work is like doing the stuff that sucks. I found that stunts had the work that I wanted to do. So, which is like I need to train constantly. I need to take martial arts class. I need to learn a bunch of new skills, and that's like one of my favorite things is to learn new things. So like having a career that has like an endless supply of skill sets I could learn is
Yeah.
like the best thing I've ever heard. So find the job that you like doing the work that sucks doing, and then just like know that if you keep genuinely working at it and not just like pretend working at it, but like doing the things that suck about the work, even so that like it's like I don't have to just go to class. I have to like watch videos of myself and critique myself and how bad I look in this video, and then I have to like
Right.
work on that. Like those are the things that are hard. But if you enjoy doing that, it will make like enduring the hard part of the industry so much easier, and it gives you such a better place to come out of at the end of it. I think.
Wow. I
Yeah,
love that. Oh my gosh.
yeah,
I
great.
love what you said also about the idea of like the work is the process and the play is actually like in the case of like acting or sense like getting the
Yeah,
job and getting to do it because it really
yeah.
puts it
Being
into
on set
perspective.
is super boring, but most of the time awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But super boring a lot of the time. But like getting to like perform the stunt is always fun,
Yeah.
even when it sucks. Like even when I'm like, okay, I've hit the ground 15 times in a row. It's ground is hard, but it's still like that's the fun part.
Right.
But
Right.
like going to the gym every day isn't necessarily the fun part. So
It's a
it's
part
like,
of the work.
but it's part of the work, and you got to do the work.
That's awesome. Well, Travis, thank you so much for sitting down and being here.
Yeah.
I love talking to you. I could talk to you all day. If anyone would like to look into Travis's work, everything, all links and things will be in the description of wherever you're watching or listening to this too. So please go show him some support and check out what he's done because it's amazing. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you on the next episode. Bye, everyone.